Hello friends, today we are going to discuss the one of the topic about Schedule 1 of the CGFT Act. The topic is regarding the supply of goods by principal to its agent without consideration and the vice versa, that is the supply of goods by agent to his principal without the consideration. This transaction is considered as a supply as per the Schedule 1. Now we will make the detailed analysis of this topic. Please remember that under the Schedule 1, the supply of goods between principal and agent or between agent and principal is written. So, supply of services is not covered for the principal and agent transaction under Schedule 1. So, any supply of services is made between principal and agent without consideration, it would be not treated as a supply. So, for the purpose of supply of services between principal and agent or vice versa, would require consideration should be must for the purpose of it should be treated as a supply. Now we will discuss when the principal is sending the goods to the agent and when the agent is selling the goods to the ultimate customer, and for the further supply if the invoice is issued by agent in his own name, then in such condition the provision of goods by principal to agent would fall under the para 3 above. What is para 3 above? Para 3 is this one, that is supply by principal to agent without consideration is treated as a supply, because here the agent is issuing the invoice in his own name for the purpose of further supply. However, when the invoice is issued by agent to his customer in the name of a principal, then such transaction would not be considered as a supply as per the para 3 which is covered above. Now, if the agent is procuring the goods on behalf of a principal and the invoice is in the name of an agent, then the further provision of the said goods by agent to principal would be considered as a supply as per the Schedule 1. This is clarified by the circular number 57/31/2018. Now we will understand this with the help of an example. Suppose the Anmol appoint Bolu to procure the certain goods from the market. Bolu identify the various suppliers who can provide the goods as desired by the Anmol and ask the supplier to send the goods and issue the invoice directly to Anmol. So here the Bolu is only making the work for the purpose of Anmol, and invoice is issued directly to the Anmol. Invoice is not issued to the Bolu. So in this condition, the transaction is not covered by the Schedule 1. So I am reading the answer. In this scenario, Bolu is only acting for the purpose of a procurement agent. He is not involved himself in the supply or receipt of the goods. And in accordance with the provision of the Act, Bolu is not an agent of Anmol for a supply of goods as per the Schedule 1. Next transaction is Mr. Tintin, a banking company appoint an auctioneer to auction the certain goods. The auctioneer arranges for the auction and identify the potential bidder. The highest bidder is accepted and the goods are sold to the highest bidder by Mr. Tintin. The invoice for the supply of a goods is issued to Mr. Tintin to the successful bidder. In this scenario, auctioneer is merely providing the auctioning services without no role played in the supply of goods. Even in this scenario, the auctioneer is not an agent of a Mr. Tintin for the supply of a goods. So, this transaction is not covered via Schedule 1 because the invoice is directly issued to Mr. Tintin and not the auctioneer or an agent. Next one is the Mr. Gautam, an artist appoint the Gambhir auctioneer to auction his painting. The Gambhir arranges for the auction and identify the potential bidder. The highest bid is accepted and a painting is sold to the highest bidder. However, the invoice for the supply of such painting issued by Gambhir on behalf of a Gautam but in his own name, and painting is delivered to the successful bidder. Here, the Gambhir, who is working as an agent, issuing invoice in his own name. So, Gambhir is not merely providing the auctioning service, but he is supplying the painting on behalf of a Gautam to the bidder. So has a authority to transfer of a title of a painting to or on behalf of a Gautam. So this scenario is covered under schedule 1 because here the agent is issuing the invoice in his own name. So this scenario is covered under the schedule 1. Next example is a CNF agent or a commission agent takes the possession of the goods from a principal and issue the invoice in his own name. In such cases, the CNF commission agent is an agent of a principal for a supply of goods as per the schedule 1 because here agent is procuring goods on his behalf and invoice is also issued in the name of the agent. So the disclosure or a non-disclosure of a name of the principal is immaterial. However, the invoice is issued once in the name of an agent. Such transaction would be covered via schedule 1. Next example is Mr. Ravi sell the agriculture produce by utilizing the service of a Kavi who is a commission agent as per the Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee Act. The Kavi identify the buyers and sell the agriculture produce on behalf of a Ravi for which he charges a commission from a Ravi. As per the APMC Act, the commission agent is a person who buy or sell the agriculture produce on behalf of a principal or a facilitate the buying and selling of agriculture produce on behalf of a principal and receive by way of a remuneration or a commission as agreed in such transaction. In such cases where the invoice is issued by Kavi to the buyer, the former is an agent covered under the schedule 1. However, in case where the invoice is directly issued by Ravi, that is the principal to the buyer, then the commission agent doesn't fall within the schedule 1. So what you have to remember in the transaction, that is the supply of goods by principal to agent, if the agent is issuing the invoice in his own name for the purpose of further supply, then the principal to agent supply will be treated as a supply. If invoice is not issued in his own name but invoice is directly issued in the name of principal, then supply of goods by principal to agent will not be covered under the schedule 1. So this you must have to remember. Now one of the topic is covered as a Dell Trader Commission. Under the Dell Trader Commission, the agent is taking the guarantee for the purpose of bad debt. So the principal doesn't worry about the bad debt. So Dell Trader Commission is generally higher than the normal commission. So what about the Dell Trader Commission? And in certain case where in the such scenario where buyer may fail to make the payment to the principal by due date, the Dell Trader agent make the payment to the principal on behalf of the buyer. So effectively providing his insurance for a default of the buyer. And for this reason, the commission paid to the Dell Trader Commission is relatively higher than the normal agent. So in order to guarantee a timely payment to the supplier, Dell Trader agent resort the various methods. Same for example, the extending the short-term loan or advances to the buyer or paying the supplier himself and then recovering from the buyer with some interest at a later date. So this is considered as a short-term loan and he is charging a interest on such short-term loan. So one topic or one question may arise whether such interest would be added in this valuation of a supply by the principal or not. So this is clarified by circular number 73/47/2018 dated 5/11/2018. So first question is whether a Dell Trader Commission would fall under the ambit of an agent under para 3 of a schedule 1. So as already clarified, the DCA, that is a Dell Trader Commission, will fall under the ambit of the schedule 1 only if the invoice is issued to the ultimate customer under his own name and not in the name of the principal. So in case where the invoice for a supply of goods is issued by supplier to the customer either himself or through Dell Trader agent, then it will not form under the schedule 1. So if the invoice is issued in the name of the DCA in his own name, then it would form under the schedule 1. So next question is whether the temporary loan or advance transaction extended by the DCA to the recipient for which the interest is charged by the Dell creditor agent is to be included in the value of a goods being supplied by supplier where the DCA is not agent as per the schedule 1 of the CGST Act. So here what is the answer? The supply of goods from principal to the recipient. Here the first transaction is supply of goods to the by the principal to the recipient. Supply of agency services from a Dell creditor agent to the supplier as well as the recipient or the both. So the supply of extending the loan services by Dell creditor agent to the recipient. So the three transaction is appearing here. So here what is clarified by the CBSE? CBIC has clarified that where Dell creditor agent is not agent as per the para 3 of the schedule 1, the temporary short-term transaction based loan provided to the buyer is the supply of services by a Dell creditor agent to the recipient on a principal to the principal basis. So it is the separate independent supply. Therefore, any interest being charged by the Dell creditor agent would not form part of the value of a supply of a goods. Now, the third question is whether Dell creditor agent under the para 3 of a schedule 1 of the act, he is an agent and makes the payment to the principal on behalf of a buyer and charges interest to the buyer for a delayed payment along with the value of goods being supplied, whether the interest will form part of the value of the goods or not. So here what are the transactions? Supply of goods by supplier to the Dell creditor agent. Second transaction is the supply of goods by Dell creditor agent to the recipient. The third transaction is the supply of a agency services by Dell creditor agent to the supplier or to recipient or to both. And the fourth transaction is the extending the credit by a DCA to the recipient. So here the clarification is given where the Dell creditor agent is an agent as per the CGST Act. The temporary short-term advances based on the credit rating provided by a DCA to the buyer no longer retain the character of an independent supply. So it will not consider it on the principal to principal basis, and it is subsumed in the supply of goods by the DCA to the recipient. Is it noted that the activity of extending the credit by DCA to the recipient would not be considered as a separate supply as it is in the context of a supply of goods made by a DCA to the recipient. So it is clarified that value of an interest charge for such credit would be required to be included in the value of a supply of a goods by DCA to the recipient as per section 15 subsection 2 clause D of the CGST Act. So this was the discussion for para 3 of a schedule 1 of the CGST Act. I hope you will understand this discussion. If anybody has doubt, then he can put a comment in the comment box. I will definitely try to answer with my best effort. Thank you.